what I wanted to do today was to show you the basics of the game, because as soon as you spawn into your map, and we have tried this on multiplayer very briefly with another person who didn't have a clue what the game was, and it felt like it was Minecraft. Now, that was pretty misleading, and I think it could be quite easy to think that it is just a crafting game and survival, when actually there's a lot of stuff that make it very, very different to Minecraft. It's, nothing to do with it apart from the crafting and a couple of left and right clicks that are useful that happen to be in both games. So let's introduce this. This is iron ore, and we need that for building what will eventually be our factory, and we're looking to automate a mining process. So what we need first, I would say, and remember, this might not be 100% right, but at least I can guide you towards the technique that I use to get everything going. This is coal. So as you can imagine, coal powers things. So what we're going to do is immediately going to drop down a mining drill, and we've got a stone furnace here. Now, I'm not going to do this efficiently to start with, because I want to show you kind of how it works. So what we'll do is we won't... you have to be close to things to be able to place them. I'll lay stuff down without making it as efficient as possible, just so you get the idea of the connections. And what we really want is, yes, we have started with some iron plates, and I collected some wood while I was talking at the beginning. So I am going to craft a iron axe, which is nice. And what that will do is allow us to mine manually, initially, some coal to get us going, because these two devices need fuel. Currently using coal, later on you can use electricity, which I probably won't go into in this video, but maybe we'll touch on it. That makes things a whole lot easier, and you can string out power lines and things like that. So let's fill up our drill with half of what we just mined, and I'll put a couple in here as well. Oh, sorry, not in that one, in that one. Now, that has given us coal, and it's dumped it straight onto the ground, but it's getting dark in the game, look at that. We don't want it on the ground, and we certainly don't want to have to pick it up each time. So I could do that, pick it up, and it will just dump out another one. But what I'd like to do is to take it to the furnace without me having to do anything. So you would use the conveyor belts. So if we put one there, it sits on the conveyor belt. If I now save that there, I will make something to pick it up off the conveyor belt. But first we're going to have to get some iron to start building things like that. So you see it's now taken two of them, and it will get a third, and that will basically just stack up and continue stacking up until something plucks it off the conveyor belt. So let's go back to where we found that iron. Where was it? It was over here. There it is. And I'll just manually mine some of this. What I'll do on the way back as well to base is get some stone, because that's useful as well. Later on, we'll be using copper to create electronics and bits and pieces like that. So is that going to be enough? That's 8, 9, 10. Maybe we'll go up to 15. Okay. We'll grab some stone. We won't grab much of that. We'll just grab, say, 5 of those. We know that it's close by. I have appeared to have put my base near the coal. That's not where it will be eventually. This is just a resource kind of centre that I'm building, and then eventually I'll have them all linked up into the middle. So what are we going to do here? We are going to craft a burner inserter. So that is going to pick stuff off the conveyor belt and put it into the box, and then it will just automate the process. We're going to put a little box down. But what I'm going to need to do first is to, put the iron into the stone furnace, and we'll just pop some more coal in there. That will probably be the last time we ever have to manually mine coal, because now it will just be done for us. So we'll leave that going. In fact, we'll just take some of it so we can hopefully build our burner inserter. So we now have, it's basically a robotic arm, but it's powered by coal. So if I rotate that, so the line is this way, and so you can see the process, the workflow will be going from the top to the bottom. You could rotate it any way you want. You could make it take it off the line that way, which might be handy in itself. So let's try that. And you see it will start picking stuff up and putting it on the opposite side. Now, what do we want over there? We want a box, so we'll build that. And if we plop the box down there, then it will start putting it into that box. And you see now the drill is working overtime to try and fill it, and our box is filling up. So let's just take that and stick to what I said about being the last time we need to mine coal, and we will fill up our arm, the burner inserter, with some coal as well. Now, this is the sort of stage in the game where it can be quite labour intensive to keep these machines running. You see this is down to 3. I mean, it does go down fairly slowly. What we really want to be doing is getting electricity going. But let's we can probably get away with taking away our furnace now. We had some iron plates in there, so that's good. And we will set up a very similar thing for the iron. What I'm going to try and do is get a small iron factory going, and then immediately start... I've run straight past it, haven't I? And then immediately start trying to get electricity. That will make everything nice and quick. So, similar process. Maybe I'll set it up slightly differently this time. But we'll take a drill. We'll take a stone furnace. Oh no, we've got a stone furnace, haven't we? Oh, well, that's slight waste, but we won't be needing that. We'll take a box, and we can just take an arm. We not necessarily need the conveyor belt at the moment. Let's just take some of that for something to put into it. And we will put down our drill, and we will put in some fuel, and at the same time, sorry, it's mining it, isn't it? Okay, so it's plopped it out, and then we will, I think we can do this without... Yes, we can, without the conveyor belt. So that will take it just off the ground. And for this, we're going to actually put it directly into the furnace. So I'm just going to have to be a little bit funny about how much coal I use, because these need 1 each. You see, we're going to very quickly run out of coal in this process. But what it's doing now is automating the process to make us iron plates, which is smelting the iron ore. Now let's go back up to our coal, because we should have a box of coal. And by the time the furnaces run out on our iron factory, there you go, 47. We will never need to worry about coal again. So, here we are, and it's still going, that's good. And we've got 11 iron plates, so we'll take those, and we'll bank them, and we shall have a look at what we can build next. Let's show you how to build a bit more of a automated process, and let's top this up. Let's put in, say, you can use right click just to put in one. I find it a little easier at this stage to do that. You can also press hang on, let's do it on this one. You can also right click on the inventory item to take half and then drop it in. That can be quite handy. So now this is going to run and run and run. We'll take more iron there, and we're going to build a conveyor belt, which will briefly completely mess up our process here, but it is all for the greater good. So we will get it going this way. So you see the conveyor belt start stacking up, and we're going to build another arm, and we'll need some more stone. We'll just quickly get some stone to build this. We'll eventually set one up for stone as well, and of course for copper for the later bits. So that should be enough stone to build our second drill. You see this is now stacking up on the line. So let's build ourselves... whoops, not that. I've done that twice now, haven't I? We are looking for the drill, so we need more iron, which happens to be in here. There we go. And that builds down in the bottom left corner, and we are already done. So this will keep drilling out. You can tell that we're getting slightly too much iron on this, but that's okay, because what we'll do is we'll put an arm at the end, and we'll start plucking it off the line. I'm just going to take a little bit of that coal because we'll need it for this. All this management of resources at the beginning is it doesn't take too much time to get used to it, and I mean, once you've done it once, you can technically never do it again. And just start working on a different part of the map, or you don't really need to create a new game, is what I'm saying. So let's build our stone furnace and put it here, and then we'll just quickly pop some in there. And now you can see we have a line starting to work together. What I will do is I can hold down right click on these, and I'll just move them slightly further down the line, so he has more of a chance of grabbing stuff off it. And these two together should clear the line. We need some more coal, don't we? So this is a pain, having to walk all the way up to get coal. What you could do is you could make conveyor belts to get it into a nice central location, or you could build train tracks, things like that. Hey, look, we've run out of coal there. Let's put that in there. This might run out as well, so let's put in a few more. They burn very slowly. Yeah, you could use train tracks to get them into the middle. You could just do a huge conveyor belt system, which is what I kind of like doing at this stage in the game, because I'm a kind of noob to it. Yeah, it's sometimes quite helpful to see other people's save games and see how they did it, which I will show you in just a second once we get this going, how I want it to. So let's just quickly plop that in there, and now we will see that in here that's made already 2, and that's made 17, so we now have 37, and we can start building other things like steam engines and boilers. You connect those together and connect it into water, and that gives you the electricity. So let's go to my other save game, which there is some... we'll just quickly save this one, and we'll save it as Noob. And we will load my one called No Idea, and that was me learning it myself. So there's going to be some potentially funny things to people who actually know how to play this game properly. And what we can see here is my copper ore coming off the line using electric drills on 2 conveyor belts. This is definitely not the most efficient way of doing it at the moment, because what I would really need is the same thing on the other side to get this side of the conveyor belt going. These are all being smelted in here, which is then in turn taken out of the smelter, put onto a production line, and it's being brought over here. And so this transport conveyor belt takes them all the way, puts them into a wooden chest, which is nice, and that starts filling up. But then that started to get full, so I thought, well, hey, I tell you what, I'll just put an iron chest on the other side and use another electric arm to put it into the iron chest. And you can see here, I actually have basically too much copper now. So what happens there is it takes it out of the chest and puts it onto here, and this is where I got to last night, where I was thinking I was going to build a research centre and things like that, and mix in ingredients, put them into what's called an assembling machine, and start completely automating more complicated processes. But what I'm going to do in this save game is just to show you how I set up each mining base. They're very similar. You can see following this up here, you'll go to my coal, which was a very, very basic setup, but it's done me good. I have too much coal, which is great. And then stone is a similar story up here to the stone. So that's going directly onto the conveyor belt and just dumping it down into the box. As you can see, it's stacking up on the conveyor belt as we talk. But this is the final bit to show you to get you started, and that is electricity. So what I have going here will work from right to left, is that we have a offshore pump. So that's a water pump sucking water out of the lake. It goes into the pipe, which you don't really need a pipe here. I just like seeing the temperature. So that's 15 degrees centigrade. But then it goes into my boilers. Now, this isn't the most efficient way of doing it. I know that there's a set way of doing burners and steam engine ratios, but I am just not ready for that kind of thing yet. But you'll see it goes into the boilers, which heat it up, and you can see the temperature of that water is now 100 degrees and 90 degrees, and you follow this along. These are all 100 degrees, so they don't need to be burning at the moment, but they have got coal automatically being taken from here and going into them to keep them powered. And then you go into the steam engine, and I've put 3 on here because it's kind of overkill. But I knew that I might need some more power later, and to be honest, I'll probably need even more power following that. I think, and I hope I don't mess this up, you can actually start linking steam engines together in much prettier ways. So I can put a pipe on the steam engine and do another rack of them. So you could have rack after rack, and you'd have maybe 100 boilers and 100 and like 30 steam engines. So there's so much you can do. It's so complicated, but it's just so much fun. And I went to bed last night thinking about the next problem and thinking about how to sort out my assemblers and things like that in the most efficient way. It really makes you think. It's fantastic. This is just my the power that it will tell you your output and what's using your power. You can see it. My electric drills are using a lot, but we're running pretty efficiently at this stage, and that is where I think I'll leave it today. So definitely a recommendation. I hadn't heard of it until this week, and the proof of the pudding was seeing that a friend had played it for over 30 hours in 2 weeks, and I can completely see why. It is just so addictive, and it's great fun. So thanks for watching, and as usual, like and subscribe. That makes a big difference to the channel, and post stuff in the comments as well to help me with efficiency and things like that. It's very early days for me, but I can really see the potential of the game. It's great. See you later. Bye.